AITA for never telling my mother what my aunt was doing to me. Content warning. Child abuse. Rape of a minor. Pedophilia. Grooming, incest. Less than. Mood spoiler. Depressing and disturbing, but Oop is feeling much better by the end. Less than. Post 1. AITA for never telling my mother what my aunt was doing to me. May 29, 2023. So I, 24 meters, have had my life flipped around. My mom was 10 and her sister, my aunt, was 14 when they immigrated from Taiwan. My mom got into a lot of trouble and she and my dad were both 14 when she got pregnant. My grandparents didn't let her get an abortion. I was so close to my mom until I was like 8, and then she just started partying, hanging out with friends, arguing with my grandparents all the time. There were a few times when she just took me after an argument and kept me away for a month or had my dad keep me. It kind of continued like that until I was 13 and my grandparents died. My aunt's engagement collapsed and she moved in to help my mom. My aunt groomed me and it messed me up. My grades dropped. I started screaming at mom and blaming how she used to act for how I acted. I got into fights at school and I was so afraid of my aunt to the point where I'd start cuddling with my mom all night just to stay away from her. When I was 16, my aunt got pregnant and she moved away with a friend like a week later. She came over once after the baby, David, was born, and when my mom went out for a little bit she made me hold him and took a photo of us and said I should hold my son while I can. Then she moved with David to Taiwan and started living with a cousin. I have tried to forget everything she did to me. I graduated with honors and I got a wonderful job. I have tried to make my mom proud. I just got her a car. She calls my fiancé the daughter she never had. My fiancé is the only one I told this because I had to let her know. Apparently last Monday, my aunt drunkenly told the cousin everything she did to me and about me being David's father. She got kicked out right away and my mom was told everything by the cousin. My mom had a breakdown and she asked me if she was really so horrible that I couldn't tell her this happened to me. She yelled that she would have been able to help, but because I didn't know her grandson is stuck with a monster, she kicked me out, saying I never must have forgiven her for how she used to act. I've talked to my fiancé about it and she said my mom just needs time and can't fathom the idea that she has a grandson she can't help. I am so confused. Was I wrong to never tell her? Edit May 30, 2023. I just want to say that I appreciate the support of everyone. I don't know what the future will bring, but thank you all for making me a little bit happy. Post 1 comments. OOP on being a victim here. I know that I'm the victim now. My fiancé has helped me understand that. With how people used to tease me for my aunt being how she was, I used to struggle with that. But even though my mom used to neglect me, then it's like she's most mad at me because she couldn't save me and wishes she could have. And now I'm afraid that she hates me. OOP on why he thinks he's the asshole here. But if I'd told my mom, then she could have saved me. That's what she thinks at least, and now she must think that I hate her or something terrible. So I really don't see how I'm not wrong, especially because my son, and it's weird to even think that I have one, is with the person who hurt me. Post 2 update. AITA for never telling my mom what my aunt was doing to me. July 7, 2023. It has been a rough month and a bit since I last posted. The day after my post, my mom called me back home and said we needed to talk. And well, when I came back and sat down on the couch to talk, she just started crying, so I started crying. She calmed down first, but I kept crying, and it's embarrassing to write, but I fell asleep. My mom woke me up and we had a talk about things, and I have to thank you, Bet Savings 4279, for what they told me. I told my mom how, because of how provocative my aunt was and how other kids would tease me whenever They'd see her. I was so confused when things were happening and I was trying to push it all down and away. She even brought up though how she should have known something was wrong because no kid at that age should cuddle with their mom all through the night, but she was too wrapped up in trying to have fun to notice. And then I don't know, I tried to tell her how much I've worked to make her proud and she told me that she's always been proud and I'm proof that she didn't end up being a waste of space like her parents always called her, and I'm her entire life. And then she admitted that she called my aunt the night before and she told me that even though she wanted to be sly with things to find out about David, my aunt knew why she was calling. It turns out after my cousin kicked her out, my aunt moved into a hotel room because she couldn't afford an apartment. My mom offered to pay that apartment on the condition that she sends David to her, and my aunt agreed. My mom told me that she wishes she could send my aunt to jail so she could suffer, but she won't fail her grandson like she failed me, so she had to bring him. He came a week after and my aunt did not come with. She sent him on the plane with a relative who didn't know what was up and left the day after to visit other people. He was really quiet and confused and my mom took him around everywhere trying to get full custody of him right away. I don't know anything about this legal stuff or how he was even allowed to come with a guardian, but my mom has told me not to worry about it and she's handling it. He did refer to my mom as his aunt when he came, but as soon as our relative left, she made him start calling her grandma, and as weird as it's been, calling me dad. He seemed uncomfortable with it, but he's kind of gotten used to it. My mom has loved being a grandma and David is already really attached to her. I know it's only been a little bit since he came, but it reminds me of myself at that age with how I used to cling to her. She's introduced him to all her close friends. Whenever they ask about his mom, she just says that she's in Taiwan and sent him over for a better life since I'm getting married. Yesterday my mom did talk to me and point out some strange stuff with David that she's noticed, and her belief that my aunt was starting to do to him what she'd done to me. I don't really know what to do with that info. My fiancé has told me I just need to keep handling it like I'm doing and stay confident. I'm doing my best, but with how things have been I don't know if it's good enough. That said, I do feel like I'm mentally better knowing my fiancé is good with my mom taking in David and my mom and I clearing things up about what my aunt did. Post 2 comments. OOP on being called dad here. My mom is going to seek custody of him and will be the one raising him. I'm not taking it. We had decided that was for the best because my mom doesn't want me thrust in that role without being ready for it. Yes. It's weird to have him calling me dad, but I can accept it because for better or worse it's who I am. And maybe in the future things can be different. OOP on David being a doover baby here. My mom is taking him to a children's therapist. At first it was to help him adjust from moving from Taiwan to here, but now she's got a referral to take him to a specialist as well. And maybe he is her doover baby, but I guess the way I see it is if she can raise him how I wish she'd have raised me, then I really was never what was wrong, but it was the situation and I can be happy for her. OOP on. If a DNA test was done to verify David as his son here. Yes. OOP on legalities involving David here. We did get one. He is mine. My mom is handling the legal stuff, and as of this morning, she's assured me that she'll be able to be David's legal guardian soon and my aunt will have no right to take him away. I really don't know the legal stuff or anything, and my mom knows it'll stress me. So she's keeping me dissociated from it all. And honestly, I know she should be in jail, but I don't think we can do anything to her with her in Taiwan. Previous BoRU. July 14, 2023. Post 3. Update number 2. AITA for never telling my mom what my aunt was doing to me. October 6, 2023. I don't really think I'm going to keep doing these. Maybe I'll do one way into the future if I do. But I felt I needed to give another update because I got a lot of messages about my aunt and I felt I needed to get some things off my chest. I do wish things were different and I wasn't in this situation. But I am in it and I have to see the good because the bad can be too much. I know some people would love it if I made this update about going on Facebook or Twitter and blasting my aunt on it and the police in Taiwan locking her away for life, but it's not. It's hard to write or talk about her outside of something which I know is private like this. And if I had to think, that's because I still feel guilty and conflicted and almost wonder if I deserved it or if I wanted it, even though I know that's not true. I hope that she lives a terrible life, but what's best for me is staying separate from her forever. And I won't be doing anything to associate with her again. A lot of people had an issue with my mom forcing David to call me dad or father while taking the title of grandma. And I won't lie, it is weird and it is uncomfortable. Especially because I don't feel like a father and I don't even know what that means to be one. But it's not making me feel sad or mad or anything. Just a little offbeat, and I don't think it's anything to be angry over. And as for the rest of it, my mom officially has custody of David. I don't know how the process went. I don't know how it happened so fast or if it was even fast. I do know she did get sent documents from my aunt's lawyer in Taiwan, but she's kept me uninvolved to avoid stressing me. The thing is that one day David said something about his mom needing him to make babies. My mom honestly cried harder than she ever has that night, and when I went to her she just kept crying and hugging me and saying she's sorry. I do hope that David will snap out of it soon. He does like seeing the child psychologist my mom takes him to. She's gotten David into school, but because of his situation, they have meetings with a school district psychologist. She's got him a translator. Because his English isn't that good, it is getting better. And apparently the school's resource team is setting up something called an IEP. As for David himself, it's weird that he misses his mom, but he does. I get missing Taiwan and being scared of a new place, but I don't know why he misses her especially since she was doing that to him. He's become really attached to my mother, and my mom really loves being grandma. She joked to me one day that the best thing is that nobody at work flirts with her anymore because she's a grandma. I guess the line for some guys is she's a grandma before she's 40. She takes him to the temple, the park, loves cooking traditional food for him, and always speaks in Mandarin with him. She even went out and bought a lot of parenting books and signed up for a class to make sure she can do it right even when it gets tough. Our interactions have been limited and I think he's scared of me, but my mom's told me over and over again that it's all right and I don't have to do anything I don't want to do. I did ask her why she's not forcing me to be more involved, but she just said she feels it'd be wrong to force me. And another thing that happened is that my father found out about David. My father's not really in my life. He has his own wife and kids and he's focused on them, and I'm adult now. So I'm at peace with what our relationship is. Honestly, this was the first time in months I talked to him, and before that, it was last year when he updated his will because he decided he wanted me to be the one to inherit his classic Corvette. Apparently one of my mom's friends let him know about David and he showed up unannounced with his kids, making them carry 2 crates full of toys while himself holding a new Xbox. My mom was pissed and has hidden the Xbox. Much more than he's ever got for me. He talked to my mom about everything while his kids played with David, and I won't lie, I felt jealous of them because it seems like being an uncle and aunt is easier than being whatever I am. But when my dad talked to me that day, it was alone in my room, and he cried too because he never wanted me to be a dad as early as him, and it was weird seeing him cry or be affectionate with me. My mom and dad did take David out to the park that day and he honestly had so much fun with them. Like, I saw them come home and he was walking between them and my mom was holding his left hand and My dad was holding his right hand and they seemed to be having so much fun. It was almost like that could have been us if the timing was right, and that did feel really sweet. My mom's let my dad take David to his house a few times as well, and he started calling my dad's wife Steppy, which is weird because she's more Chinese than my mom is. They still call me on FaceTime just to talk with him, and my dad's come a few times since then because they want to see their nephew. My mom is going to go with my dad's family on Halloween because they all want to take David out. The best thing for me though has been my fiancé. I guess I never really understood the term that she's my rock before this, but I get it now. My mom gets it too and has me call her whenever I guess things start to get uncomfortable, and I get why she calls me when she's in a similar place. Her family has been amazing and understanding too. They've got a very sanitized version of what happened to me, but just like my mom. But they've all been so great to me. It's weird because it's like I got the one fiancé whose family treats me good despite it. And I won't lie, her parents are very traditionally Chinese and I was scared they wouldn't keep approving of me, but her grandfather gave me a hug. So, I am in a better place, and my fiancé is probably the biggest reason why. Thanks for listening to my TED Talk. Poor Oop. Everyone in his childhood had failed him so spectacularly, but seems to be doing the right thing with the child. They seem more concerned that Oop became a father so early in life and not the incest trauma, which is crazy. I'm not sure why he keeps referring to the kid as his dad's nephew though. Welp, you've served me well, but after reading this, I have no further use for you. Rips out both eyes. Enough Reddit for today. This poor guy. I'm glad that David is away from the evil aunt and everyone is moving in a healthier direction. But I really hope he gets some counseling. My heart goes out to OP, and I commend him for how he's been handling this situation. But I think therapy would really help sort out these very complicated feelings he must have. I can imagine it's all very confusing with a lot of mixed emotions. Just the situation he was born into is hard enough. And then all the stuff with his aunt. I'm so glad she is out of their lives, but man, I wish she was in jail. Okay, wow. This is all terrible. Op talking about his mum as if she isn't also absolutely off her gourd is a trip face with spiral eyes. It's sad how much I identify with Op in this story. What in the flowers in the attic did I just read? I wish someone would tell him he's a survivor and replace victim. I think the mom is doing a tremendous job. I don't know if I could have kept my stuff together to bring David home with me and raise him without major trips ongoing in my own heart and soul. Meanwhile, Oop needs therapy too. Makes you wonder who the aunt's current victim is. And it made me wonder who her victims were before Oop. I'm glad David is safe. But it's a good thing Oop has his fiancé, because his so-called parents are too busy playing Doover to bother helping him through his trauma. I'm so angry for Oop. I hope that aunt dies friendless and alone. Spent 13 hours at job on my double-decker coach and opened Reddit to relax. Time to close it. WTF did I just read? NGLOOP's mom gives me weird vibes. The way he writes about her seems to make her seem controlling. I'd be keeping an eye on her. I hope we don't get an update where she has grown bored of the grandkid and pushed him onto Oop. Oop does need therapy though. I hope he feels comfortable seeking it someday. But IDK. Could be cultural differences at play for me. I'm white AF and NC with all my family, so what do I know about making allowances for PPL I don't like, lol. If I was Oop, I would cut everyone out of my life but my fiancé and her family. Mom is doing better. But making the kid call oop dad and just treating David like a doover kid is gross. Even OOP's dad is treating David like a doover. And both of them coming back from the park hand in hand with David is setting off more red flags than there are in China. WTF did I just read? I think it's best to stop Reddit for the day and go do something productive. Reminder for people that if you are in a similar situation and need help, RAINN.org, Rape Abuse Incest National Network, is a great resource. You are not alone. And what happened is not your fault. Odabi Jared 19. Op has had a rough life, but he needs to process what he's gone through. He's expressing a lot of resentment and jealousy towards his kid. And it's probably very obvious to anyone that he interacts with. Even though Op doesn't want to be reminded of what happened. There's an innocent child that needs to be loved. I see nothing wrong with the grandma and friends showering the kid with love and some gifts. I'm so sad. Sad face. Nothing wrong with making the kid call his dad dad. Anyone really got a problem with that?
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Aircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.